2024. There's a scan. Did you get that sheet when you came in? There's a little QR code on the sheet where you can scan that QR code and then just log in right here.
And it's going to ask for your name. You don't have to put that in. It's anonymous. We're not going to know anyway. So you could put Mickey Mouse and we would have no clue. And Ms. Carnesi is coming to make sure, sir, that you're signed in and you're good to go. That's how we're going to collect your responses. We do have a microphone, and we can walk around and we can get your responses via microphone as well. And we do have some incredible folks up here that will be scribing those messages if we need to. I would also request that when you are putting your responses into Poll Everywhere, that you identify what your program is. If you're driver education and safety, you put DES, or if you're cosmetology, COS, but just identify your program, and that'll help us to be able to know specifically which pieces you are talking about. I want to take a quick moment and recognize all of our support staff here from TDLR. We've got Angelica and Carnesia. We've got Miss Lydia and Mr. Stephen, and then you had Christine was out in the front. So we've got some staff here to help, and they're excited to be here with you as well. And then we also have our budget policy analyst, Mr. Tony Cuvion, back here. He's trying to hide. He's not doing a real good job, but glad to have him here with us as well. Also want to recognize we have Dr. Nina Dosaint and Miss Elizabeth Madden from our DES Advisory Board here with us. These two have been troopers. They were in Arlington with us all day, and then Ms. Josane has also been with us in the Houston sessions. So they're traveling and playing with us. It shows that even for our advisory boards, this is a very important process. So thank you all so much. So why we are here? This is strategic planning. This is something that every state agency is required to do every 2 years. And for most state agencies, it's a check the box type of activity. We got it done, we turned it in, we're good to go. This is going to go to the Legislative Budget Board, this is going to go to the governor's office, and we're also going to have legislators that will be looking at our report. And as you can tell by the fact that you're here or you're online, TDLR does it different. We tour the state and we get the feedback of our advisory board members and of our industry members. We're the experts of licensing regulation. We are not the experts in your field. And so we're very thankful that you've taken the time to join us and give us your feedback and give us your input and give us your thoughts and ideas as we go through this process. We are here to listen to you, hear what you've got to say. We want to see your responses. And the thing is, we're not going to be able to answer too many questions. This is more of an information gathering type of session. So just kind of keep that in mind as we go through. But I can tell you we're going to get, over 10,000 responses from all the cities that we've been through. And then also we've done this with our internal staff as well. And so we are going to look at every single response. And so just heads up, all ideas will be recorded. It's part of our brainstorming rules. We are recording every single one of them. And we will look at every single one of them. Let's see here, make sure I'm covering everything. So we'll go ahead and get on to the brainstorming rules.
Yeah. So one of the things, guys, why is this important, right? You may be asking yourself, we just come out here to gather some information, but this is really something important to all of you and those online. We want that feedback because there's a lot of comments and there's a lot of things that will happen or is happening to your industry and we don't know about it. And more than likely, the legislature does know about it, right? So there are things that you may want, you may change. You'll have questions we're going to ask. If you were king for the day, what would you do? How would you change it? What are we doing wrong? That could be us, the legislature. You don't like the way laws are written. We need to express those ideas because the more we get those and we gather them, it's going to help us tell the story for all the industries we regulate. It's very important. Because there will be a time, and I always call the legislature mom and dad, there's going to be a time mom and dad is going to come to TDR and ask, hey, How's your electricians guys doing? Well, they want this from this exercise. And they're going to see those, and we'll have those recorded, and it will help. There's been, in all of the years I've been with TLR, there's been a lot of strategic initiatives that have been created in this setting, and there's a lot of laws that have been changed because of these meetings. So don't think for 1 minute that we're just here, just gathering information and wasting your time and the rest of the industry's time. This is actually very valuable for you and for the department. We do want to see the industry flourish as long as they're under our watch. We want to see the best for the industries, for all of them that we regulate. So we really want to hear your ideas, which is why number one, we're going to record them all. No ideas is ridiculous. I know you may see something on the screen and you're like, well, that's dumb. Well, maybe, but let's no judgment, right? And let's build on those ideas, because that idea that you may thought it was ridiculous, it may actually help you formulate what you think the best practice may be. We heard some good ones this morning, even from our tow truck industries. They had some good ideas, and they saw some things in laws that need to be removed. You know, they're great ideas. We're going to put them on there. So if you do know those citations, that will help. If you don't, that's okay. Just get as close as possible of what the subject is about, and we can get them up there. But if you do know the citation of the law that you want to see change and why, just let us know. Again, build on others' ideas and generate as many as we can. We want to make sure those that are here today, you could put them in poll everywhere. If you do want to elaborate, we have mics coming around. And if you do not really want to type them, we have the fast fingers over here. They'll be able to get them done for you, and they'll show up on here. But we want to make sure whoever said it, we capture it correctly. The whole idea of this poll everywhere is we want your words, not ours, which is why when Brandy said, this is about you, it's not about us, we'll help you. We're the facilitators. I'm going to help you along. I got plenty of ideas, but I don't want to share mine. I want you all to share yours for us, all right? So we'll go through some exercise to see how this thing works. Make sure you guys get a good handle on the poll everywhere. This exercise is for those online as well.
And everything that you say is valid and it's valued. So everything you're giving to us has meaning to us. It should have meaning to you as well, and we know that because you're here. Aww. So this is kind of getting everything loosened up, making sure that poll everywhere is working right and that you're managing it and doing okay with it. But the one in the orange, we've got to change that. I don't like people in the orange. I'm glad there's nobody in the red, but I don't like unhappy
I usually
faces.
put mine in the red.
Of course you do.
Just to be odd.
That would be something great with you. So before we get into the actual questions, I want to let you know there's going to be 4 questions that we're going to ask you. And the reason that we want to put them out here now is so that you know it's coming and you can respond in the question that we're asking. So the first question, once we get there, is going to be, what is TDLR doing well? The second question will be, what can TLR do better? The third question will be, if you were king or queen for a day, as Ray was mentioning earlier, what rule, law, or procedure would you change? And then the fourth question is going to be, it's the crystal ball question, right? So it's in 5 years, what do you see happening to your industry? So those are questions we're going to ask as we move through this. So just make sure, again, that you're responding to the question that we're asking, and then that way we can capture the valid information in the valid spot. So what are we missing, sir? We ready?
That's it. Let's do it.
All right.
I think there's some practice ones here, right? Yeah, here we go.
So which program or industry are you most interested in for this strategic planning session? So what are you here for? What are you online representing?
And how many online folks do we have right now?
Oh, do we know that?
25?
Awesome.
Good. So this goes for the online folks as well,
Yes.
if you don't mind putting in your...
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Help.
Oh, let's try that again.
See, that's why we have professionals over here. Thank
working?
you. Okay, is it up correctly?
Is it up?
Thank y'all. Okay. It's Monday and it's tax day.
Fuel, awesome. We haven't had fuel today.
No, that's
good.
cool. We've got midwifery, DES, driver's education. Okay, that's making me dizzy. So the way these little word clouds work is that, okay, there we go. The bigger the word, the more responses that have come in. So we regulate 38 or 39 programs, depending on who you ask. And so it's exciting to see the representation. We've got TOW, Barber Cause, electricians, and it's changing every time y'all are typing something in and it's coming through.
Awesome.
Property tax professionals, property tax consultants.
Electrical, yeah.
Cool.
No AC got folks with us this afternoon? I don't see AC. Okay.
Motor fuels, okay. Woohoo. Hearing fitters. We didn't have them this morning, so thanks for showing up.
Yeah.
Okay. And it looks like we've got some subject matters that folks are interested in as well, like our emails and things of that nature. So not just necessarily each program, but it is asking on what
Awesome.
you are interested in. So thank you. All right, that's slowing down. So I think we're ready to get started with the first question. Is everybody comfortable with poll everywhere and ready to play? All right. So our first question, what does TDLR do well? And this is not just a pat on the back question. Oh. Uh-oh. Okay.
Hold on.
Monday, tax day. That's what I'm going to keep going with.
Is it working?
Okay. Got it? Thank you. So what does TDLR do well? Again, this is not a pat ourselves on the back question, although we do like to hear what we're doing well. But the other thing of this is, what are we doing that you like that you don't want us to change? If you like the communication that we're sending to your industry and you don't want that to change, put that up here. If you like our new website that went up for our 115th anniversary as an agency from our web team, if you like that and want to see that continue, put that up here. And you are not limited to one response.
Having these meetings so we can voice our concerns. I like that. That is, that's something important to us. Like we said earlier, these meetings are very valuable. Able to enroll barber and cosmetology students online, get their license the same day.
Woohoo.
Their student permit, that is, for those who is not necessarily the license, but they'll get the student permit.
Responses to questions in a timely manner, that's good. Education.
Education for licensees, that's a big important thing, at least for me specifically, because our division, we want to educate all our licensees and make sure that they maintain compliance. So that is a big thing that's on our list that I feel we need to do more.
Communicate well with our groups within TDLR. Staff is helpful. Communication is good. The information is helpful. That's good. We want to make sure of that. If we're going to send you something in an email, we want to make sure it's of value to you and that you're going to use it and have information that you want to see or need to see.
I like the listening to public to provide helpful information so the public's not taking advantage by licensees.
Simplifying the motor fuel calibration reporting today and searchable licenses online. Searchable website. Props to our web team on the website. I'll tell you that they did that all on their own. They did a study to see how many clicks were on each spot of our old website. They figured out what pieces you wanted to see. as our constituents and designed the website from that information. So it was not just a overhaul for the fun of it. There was a lot of time and effort put into it to make sure that we could meet the needs of our licensees through that piece. So they did a darn good job with it. What else? Keep them coming.
That's good to know. When you call in and choose other, you get a real person quickly. Well, that's another thing that's on our list also. We're trying to continually to improve that. We had a lot of contacts. Somebody mentioned this morning, we don't know how we do it with 38 different programs. We're getting bombarded with different questions, and we want to make sure that everyone's questions are answered. Great at social media posts. Kudos to Tila.
Communications manager, thank you.
What are the things you guys use us when you're doing your everyday business and you come to the website that it's going to aid you with what you're doing as an industry? That's kind of what we're looking for here, right? We don't want to inadvertently change something and then it goes away and then you go to the website and you go, wait a minute, I was using that. And then you call customer service and you have to wait to get an answer. I don't
No,
want
they'll
that
get
to
a
happen.
real person quickly.
Yeah. But I don't want that line to start, right?
No, absolutely
So
not.
what is it, what are those things that is very valuable to you as an industry that is helping your business?
You know, and as we're going through this, all of these questions, we're looking at some of this stuff. And yes, there are going to be things that are going to be suggested that will be some type of legislative change, or it may take our advisory boards to do a rule change or things of that. But there's going to be some information that you're going to share with us that could be just a simple process or procedure change that we have internally. So remember, I told you we're going to look at all of these. And so we're going to see, is there something that came up that we can do now, that we don't have to wait for the legislature, we don't have to wait for it to be a strategic initiative in our report. So those are some things that we're not only waiting for those processes to happen and for the steps to happen. We're looking at this of like now, tomorrow, in the future to see what we can do.
CE classes entry, very user-friendly. I'm assuming that's from one of our CE provider. That comment. That's good.
Okay, we're slowing down. Give it a few more minutes for folks online to plug in what you want. Anybody else in here, if you have any other additions, throw them in there.
Quick and easy license renewal. Beauty and barber salons. Now call establishments for all of you barbers and cosmetologists. Good stuff.
You ready to go to the next one?
Good stuff. We'll go to the next one.
Okay.
So the next question is, what can we do better? And this could be anything and everything, right? Whether it's rules, laws, even if it's a process, or even if it's a change on the website. Maybe something was taken away on the website and you want it back, or maybe it's a form, maybe it's some different documentation, maybe it's videos that you may be looking for. Just something, anything along those lines and anything else. But if you do have citations of a specific rule or even law, provide it here as well.
And you could put that's also going to be our next question as far as the king or the
Right.
queen thing, but definitely, I mean,
Absolutely.
if you feel that that's the piece that we can do better, put it in both of them.
Right.
I mean, the more we see something, the more we'll know the impetus of it as well.
I like this. I wish we can renew everybody online. There's a lot of other things we have not done, and I can tell you, I hope it's coming. It's coming. We're
Yes.
working on it, but I'm glad you're telling us that because you do feel it, and we don't want that. We don't want to be the impediment. TILDAR can enhance its regulatory framework. consider approaches in other states, such as Virginia, to combat predator towing practices. We had a similar comment this morning. This is good. There's a lot of unlicensed activity, and we've heard that not only in tow, but in other industries, and we do want to we really need that information, because that's only going to help us be able to grow, hopefully, in the future. When hours were changed, was also added regulation students were, I'm not sure what that is.
I think it's supposed to be weren't, but a lot of times the apostrophe comes up funky in these types of things. So. And if that's not correct, please correct me. And also make sure, like we said, cosmetologists, tow, you're seeing how the programs are being identified. Please keep that coming so we know exactly which program we're referencing as we go through this.
On the cosmetology one, whoever posted that, if you could just maybe clarify exactly what we're looking for. I'm not certain I understand that. I could assume, but I don't want to assume. I want to make sure we have that info right.
Absolutely.
The updated on the laws and rules. Thank you for that question. We've had similar questions. You're not alone on that. We're going to be looking into that on law and rule books on how to get that to schools and individuals. DE, implement rule changes in a more timely manner. Work is still being done on the 2021 past legislation. Rule changes.
What specifically
Yeah, I'm not.
On that 2021 legislation is being referenced?
Oh,
Okay. The
curriculum. Update the curriculum.
Okay.
You're fine. We just want to make sure the folks online can hear you.
Okay, they're used to me screaming at them. It's okay. Remember the announcements
ma'am.
on the board? Okay. No, but I mean, it's 2021. We're about to go into the next session, just starting in January, and we're still trying to get through that rule package
Yeah.
from that one. It's just hard on the industry when something passed legislatively. So which do you comply with, legislation or the rule, or
Got it.
need to get it more timely so everybody can be on the same page?
Makes sense. What else can we do better? This is usually like the let me have it type of question, right? Like people love this question.
Electrical license online application status feature.
You want to read it, Ella?
Yes, that's a great comment. Whoever posted the electrical licensing online application status features to know where our applications are at the review approval process. Absolutely, we should put a star on that, times 20. I agree. That's just a great idea. It reduces the unknown, right? We want to know what we're doing. That kind of helps the conversation and our practices of communication, right? TDLR with the industry. Absolutely. Loud and clear. That's a really good one. And we are looking into making something like that happen.
It's kind of like the Domino's tracker, right? Like you can
Yeah,
see where your piece
exactly.
is at. And
Right.
I'm seeing this to be
Right.
kind of the same thing. Where in the process is my application? Where in the process is my renewal?
Or Sonic when they're coming out with my order
Yeah.
and skates, because I know it's ready. Same
Does
thing.
it get you quicker that way on the skates?
Go ahead.
Yes.
I'll try to speak slow. Not all cases, but I do exam prep classes, and probably 20 to 40% of the folks, it takes around 60-plus days to get approved to take the exam. In some cases, it takes like less than 10 days. And these people don't have criminal histories because I asked them about that. And I don't understand why there's such a problem with getting people to, because once a person decides they want to take the test, it's kind of like buying a car. You got a window there when you get excited about doing it. And if it takes 60 or 90 days, by that time they've already taken their exam prep class or out of school, whatever. They don't want to do it anymore. So I think it's a roadblock.
Did we get that? We're getting it, we're writing it out. Thank you for that. I know what you're talking about, and that is a concern for us as well. There's one here, if we can go back, I think it was something about bar and cosmetology. Somebody posted that their submitting hours is still unclear in Shears. I'll just let everyone know in that industry, we are still going to be doing a lot of around the state summits because those two industries have merged. So we are going to be coming around to help identify, this is what can we do better. This is one we can take care of with a process change, and that process change is to have more face-to-face communication with that specific industry because those industries merge. So thank you for that, and we are going to be setting some of those meetings up.
Hey, Ray, why did those two merge? Was that something that TDLR did, or was that something
No,
that
that's
the
yeah,
legislature
it
did?
was a legislative change, and they merged the programs because there was a lot of similarities, and they wanted to reduce the amount of laws we have written out in books. There's 3 different laws, bring it down to 1. Book ordering, that's another, yeah, thank you for that. That was another comment we've had in the other 4 cities. And you'll see there's a lot of common things, and we're going to post these comments, folks. They're all will be posted. When, I don't know, can't tell you that, but we're going to be posting those for the public to see your comments and the common ones that we're having. And the ones we can address, we're going to address immediately. The ones that are legislative change, we're going to deal with those at a later time with the legislative session. More testing and times, mainly on Saturdays. Yes. For electrical, yes.
Okay.
That resonates well with me. In fact, I've already had conversations with PSI last week on increasing facilities. We need to do something. Duly noted, but I don't want to dismiss your comment. It's there. It's on other cities as well, so I know it is a problem. And we need to have either more test sites, more times, something, but we need to have more throughput. Agreed.
But those conversations are being had, like you said. And then it looks like we've captured your comment here for the exam prep classes, 40 to 60% of folks stay too long. Okay, good deal, glad. All right, what else?
On the comment for the barbering, saying whoever posted, we have technical trouble when submitting students 900 hours. If you got, whoever posted a comment, if it's online or even in here, if it's in here, can you talk to me afterwards? If not, if it's online, can you please send us an email? That shouldn't be happening. So if you can send us an email on our Dynamics page where you can click the link and provide customer service to E&E, Education Examination, give us some specifics about a specific student. That will be helpful. We can help you directly with that particular issue. That should not be happening. So I want to make sure that we correct that problem. That's something that can be corrected.
Okay, what else can we do better? We got folks typing, or do you just want to talk?
And on the exam prep one, 40, 60%, is that, and I'm going to understand that. I'm assuming that is people they're submitting their application and are waiting too long for that. I'm just going to say for the application to be processed. Let's just say that in big picture, and then be able to get out to PSI and get that test done. Is that kind of?
Yes.
Okay.
I always have people, the very first class, make sure we go over how to apply, get their letters in, and get that done that week. And then it's, by the time we're done with exam prep, some of them are still not approved yet.
Okay.
So,
And that type of problem and what we can do better, that's an agency, we can fix that. That's not something that we have to wait for the legislator to tell us to do something. We can take action on those, and these are some of the things that we need to hear so we can pivot and make changes, because the whole idea, I'm saying, I'm a consumer too for other things, and I always apply what happens to me in my personal life, and I apply it to work, and I don't want you guys, I don't want us be the impediment on your industry, right? We need to be able to work in the background and you don't even know we exist. That's kind of how I like to be, right? But if we're there in your face, that means we're not doing our part. So that's something that's important and we need to fix.
It was really bad during the latter parts of COVID, when people were still working at home, even after COVID was over.
Yeah.
People still working at home, and it was taking forever, so.
I can tell you that's something that is actively being worked on. The workload in our agency, yes, we've got a lot of programs, we've got a lot of stuff coming through, and we want to give that excellent customer service, which is one of our core values, to everybody that comes through our door, no matter how that method is done. So that is something, sir, that I can happily tell you that is being actively addressed.
I've got one other one here, and if something's taking place, I used to download, I'm a CE provider for electrical, continuing education. I've been doing it for 20 years now. And 2 to 3 times a year, we download licensing records, and we send people postcards to, hey, sign up for our class, it's time to get your license renewed. We can no longer do that, and we're kind of, our hands are kind of tied, and y'all need to maybe think about the situation we're in, that we have a dozen people show up on a Saturday that, not being racist or anything, but have the same last name and the same first name, and they don't have their license with them because they're not working that day. They're at home or something like that, and we can't look them up even by county anymore to even try, is this you, you know, to get their exact, and I gotta wait till Monday for them to call me back and get their license number for coming in and taking a class. Because they usually come with their buddies a lot of times on Saturdays, not registered, pre-registered. Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll type
so
that
what
down,
happened
but
there?
David, I'll tell you, there was some law changes that occur that prevents us from doing what we were doing before. I'll leave it at that, as simple as that. But I hear you, I hear what you're saying, and I've heard this from other providers as well. Don't get me lying on camera. I don't know. I know it was I don't know if it was a Senate bill or a House bill, but there was a bill that passed, and it prevents the department from disclosing PII. Right? We can't disclose certain things anymore. And that's not just a TDLR. That's statewide, all state agencies. I know it's just something. It's a cybersecurity. You know, when I went to school, I remember they post my social security number next to my grade, and you know, at UT, there it is. You failed chemistry. There's your social security number. But I mean, times have changed, and we can't do this types of practice anymore.
Wait,
but I
failed
hear you. There
chemistry?
may be other ways. I want to put that comment down, because there may be other ways we can work to help you get what you need without disclosing or violating that law.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Hi, I just want to go back to the cosmetology and barbering that's merged. It's like core hours versus the specialty hours. It's a little vague to us in the industry. Are we allowed to do our own specialty courses, or are you all going to let us know what exactly are the specialty courses?
So, and there's a lot of comments on that. For those listening and those in the room, I promise you, we're going to have some meetings about this. We're going to have some summits, and there's still a lot more changes happening, and it is impacting the schools. Right now, it's a change on the schools on how to report and what to do. We're going to have those meetings here soon, real soon. We're also going to have some videos recorded. I'm sure my staff is listening. They're like, what, you're promising videos? Yeah, we're going to have some videos, and there'll be short videos, right? And we're going to try to do this with a lot of industries. A lot of people like to see this little snippets. I mean, I like to go to YouTube and see little things. How do you do? And I go, oh yeah, great, that's awesome. So I know it's helpful. Videos is helpful. So we're going to try to do that specifically for Barber Cause on those two things, and we're going to have more meetings. But, you know, those videos, we need to keep it short. People don't like anything longer than 2 or 3 minutes, and then it gets monotony.
Yeah. And we just hired a new multimedia specialist
Which
who
is why we're
started
gonna-
today, and it sounds like her workload's getting full. So that's awesome.
But trust me, we'll get to you on that. There's been a lot of comments on that, duly noted, but we are going to go out. I've seen not only from today, but from the other cities, there's those similar comments, so I know there is still some uncertainty or not. We did some early training earlier, but I know we need some more. Folks are not entirely comfortable, but we'll get there together.
All right, next comment. Actively discipline students or non-licensed providers quickly and take these complaints more seriously. Unlicensed activity is happening in all of the industries, and it is a very common thread that we're hearing across all of these sessions, and it is a challenge. There's no doubt about that. CE for electrical, better license search. Okay, I think this is the comment that we had with you. Thank you. Cause and bar specialty licenses need, okay, we just talked about that. And then esthetician, cosmetologist, so many unlicensed practitioners as well as injector certification means a piece of paper suitable for framing only, but it's no license. Intimidated to report unlicensed practitioners for fear of retribution. Please seek out and inspect and fine and close down these places. We hear you on that. Unlicensed activity is real, again, across every industry that we have.
But we're going to need your help. Those listening online, whoever posts a comment, it's like everything. See something, say something, right? You've seen that on our stickers with fuel pump. See something, say something. You got to say something. You see somebody getting mugged, you don't want to just keep quiet. Say something. Together we can help. This is something that there is a lot of unlicensed activity in all of the different industries. If there wasn't, we wouldn't be here, right? We wouldn't have regulation if everybody wanted to do the right thing all the time. There are going to be bad actors, and together we could try to minimize and even eliminate that type of activity. But we do need to work together. We need to find different ways. We've already seen a lot of this comment in other cities. So we as an agency probably need to find out ways on how we could better do inspections or investigations, maybe different ways and different methodologies on how we can kind of tackle these. Because I've heard sometimes they've said, well, they know the inspector came yesterday, so we'll go do our shenanigans tomorrow and for the next few weeks because they're already here, right? So we've heard that as well in other cities. So we need to figure out ways of do we go back the next day? Do we go back in 2 days? There's different ways on what we can do, but we need to work together to try to find some solutions to try to reduce those unlicensed practices. But that's real.
Part of the see something, say something is also our complaint process
Yep.
that we have, and you can report a complaint online. So if you go to our website, there's a spot that says report a complaint. Fill that out, send it to us, and we will have an investigator look at it and go through the process. We take every complaint that we get seriously, and we look at it for jurisdiction and what we can do with it as far as the regulatory body. So again, it's one of those things that's not falling on deaf ears. And I think that's just one thing that's really important to know is that we do care about it.
The El
we're doing
Paso
everything we
folks
can.
told me when we did this strat plan, why don't we put a QR code on the complaint form? Not just on our website. So, establishments will post, especially Bar Cause, you guys post complaints, call here. There's a QR code, right? Somebody goes in the establishment, whether it's a school or a salon, any establishment, they can hit that QR code and file. Make it easier to file a complaint. So that was a great idea about the QR code.
That is a good idea.
So we're looking at all those different possibilities. Together we can make things happen.
Heads up, communication team. Nothing, we're doing a great job. Thank you.
Yes. Kudos to whoever posts that. Give customer service representatives more information for frequently asked questions. So I'll tell you, we recently hired a new director for customer service. Not that the old director was bad, it was just director left. The position was vacant for a while. The exec office got that position filled. We have a new director between myself, Heather, who's the director of licensing, and now the new director of customer service. We're going to be working together Because between education and licensing, we have the most output of people touching us to try to get what they need so they can get a license and do their business. So we need to better arm our customer service representative on the answers to the everyday questions people are having. So we're in full conversation to actually do something like that and have some fixes. So thank you for that comment. That is really good, and we're acting on that.
Stay tuned. Okay, what else? What else can we do better? Y'all have given us some great information with
Yeah.
great specificity. Keep it coming. There is not a limit to what you can put in here.
Yeah, and I like these comments because not only you're telling us what we can do better, you're actually giving us ideas on how to do it, which is great because that helps us, seeing it in a different perspective. It helps us say, oh yeah, well we can do that instead of
versus
this.
just fix it,
Yeah.
Well,
Right.
how?
So
Y'all are giving
I
us the
like
how.
that.
Yeah, this is good stuff.
What else, guys? Anybody in the room want to take the mic for a while?
Okay, anybody online? How many, do we still have 20-something folks online?
Awesome.
All right, well, what do you think, right?
Okay,
You
let's
wanna-
go to the next one.
All right,
So this is the king or queen for the day. What TDLR process, laws, or rules would you do? Just think of this question like there is no laws and rules. Everything's out the door. You are the king or queen. What would you do for your industry? How would you change things? I got a laundry list. I can change the world with all the things I want to do for all the industries, but it's not my show. It's yours. Tell me what you're looking for in the electrical program. What should they do? What do we need to do? In DES and CAUSE, there's a lot of things. Barber and CAUSE is a big change. It's merged.
Yeah.
There's things that are going to be, that people may see that it's going to be a detriment to the industry, but there's things that you're going to see that, wow, I'm glad it merged because this is going to help us. There's things in the electrical as well, that there's things that are going to help the industry, and what things can you shape it? What are you going to do differently? If you were a king or queen for the day, what would that be?
Got a great response from Toe on here, very detailed. I see citations and everything in here. Way to go.
So they're saying, look at Virginia's proactive approach. We're going to need to do that. We're going to look at their drawing of inspiration. That's good to know.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I think some of the same thing applies for the electrical program, is just overall enforcement. And we had two enforcement officers, Jerry and Larry, and Jerry's retired. And are y'all going to replace the deputy position soon, or do you know?
Jerry retired? No kidding.
Yeah.
I know. Yeah, I don't know. That's not in my shop. I'm presuming so, that they are, right? We have Larry, but yes, agreed. We like to have our SMEs on staff, especially for this business, electrical and AC, because we know nothing about that. And we need your help to make sure that we do things the right way and working with the advisory boards, absolutely.
I think the biggest thing I hear from contractors is just the enforcement. My guys are doing it right, and they see so much abuse out there. Anything from equipment being installed not to code outside jurisdictional areas that don't have inspections, to a single master electrician mastering for multiple companies and nothing ever being done about it. So those are some of the bigger ones. And I know there's been complaints filed against people. They have multiple responsibilities. It just doesn't seem like any ever done about it.
So you're saying regulate contractors?
We already are regulated. A little more enforcement.
A little more but you're talking, what I heard in the,
For the bad actors.
Yeah,
Most people are doing it right, but the bad actors, one we're talking about, and it just seems like And that's who our good guys wind up bidding against, are the bad actors.
Yeah.
What I heard in the valley, David, is that people are doing these side jobs, right? And they're charging, I don't know, $200. And you're like, well, you can't even buy the equipment for $200. So they're doing these side jobs, and then the real contractor and the actual licensee has to come back and fix that, or they're undercutting them and they're doing the business without a license, again, unlicensed activity.
Yeah.
We've heard a lot of that, and it's very high, and it's happening a lot in the valley. We got a lot of comments from McAllen, that same type of thing. That's kind of what I'm starting to
Yeah, that's
see.
what we're hearing.
Yep.
We heard it in Houston, we also heard it in
The same thing.
Arlington. Yeah, so that's been something that we've heard in every city. Yes,
Yeah, unlicensed activity, and you're in jurisdiction is unpermitted work, because that's not an issue for TDLR permitting, but just unlicensed activity and inappropriately people, I mean, apprentice electricians are out here doing side work,
yeah,
and nothing ever gets done about it.
So there's more enforcement.
yeah, yeah.
Can you, there's been a lot that can we scroll back? There's been a lot that we've missed. I want to make sure we address some of these. No $20 fee for, such as required for parent taught, for in-person providers or online. Was that you, Nina?
I wish y'all could see her face. She's got a like hand in the cookie jar smile.
We've
It's
heard
really
that,
cute.
we heard that earlier, so thank you for that comment. I know people are concerned with that. DES, I agree, students taking adult driver ed have no requirements for driving hours. They can get a learner permit and immediately test skills they may have not have. I don't, maybe my team understands that. I don't think I understand that. Oh, okay.
Oh.
Add behind the wheel to adult driver education 7 to 8 hours? I agree with that statement. Okay. Okay. You agree with that statement? How do we highlight when somebody agree? Can you just send it again or something?
If there's
Somebody
like
agrees with the statement.
Like I second that motion?
Yeah, I
or-
second. Okay,
Okay.
okay.
And the stars just are like, make it bigger.
To make it bold.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So the star doesn't
Okay.
mean that this one's more important than another. It's just
Okay.
making it bigger to be able to be seen. Yeah. All right, students would not be allowed to sit for any portion of the exam if they have not paid their school balance. Other states support the schools in this way, and this should be across the board in all industry education. Okay, so you're working without the fee.
And again, that was king, queen for the day. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's perfect. That is a law change, but that's something we want to hear.
Yeah, if you have the crown and the wand, what do you want to do? A little more enforcement on those who are doing side jobs. Okay, we've talked about that. DES, keep time-based requirements as in POI and keep POI standards.
Okay? That's the education standards for DES.
All right, we got some.
Fuel, increase fuel quality inspection. So again, more oversight is what we're looking for there.
Oh, I'm going to go down one. As a fuel system service company, our customers struggle with registering their meters and often want us to complete that for them. I think it would be beneficial to be able to register our customers and handle this for them, and then have TDLR send the bill directly to the customer for their fuel metering devices. Okay, so a different customer service standpoint from things that they struggle with and that you are the master in. And that you understand easily. Okay? Your turn.
So when you heard this earlier as well, making the car observation optional because of the limitation of observation from the back seat.
yeah, that's a
Or
good
change
point.
some of the standards, right, of how that would work, but we've heard that, that's a good comment. The cause, less regulation about details and trends in industry, and focusing on keeping the public safe. So more public safety, not do away with all regulation, sure. So it seems like it's, and this, we've heard this before, more education. It seems like the trend we're going in, and lately from almost all industries that have an education component that we regulate, is to provide a better understanding of what is required by that provider to better educate their students, right? Whether it's massage, barber cause, even, I know we don't regulate the AC and the electrical, but it's still something that is important if they want to be successful and seek a job within that field. So that's something, education is important. That's kind of where that's going. What else do we have?
Are we at the top?
What other things do we have down that we didn't touch on that may be maybe worth to talk about a little bit here? I agree, student taking driver. There's been a lot of DES questions or comments. It's good.
Can y'all stop scrolling for just a second? I'm seeing, I think, looks like y'all are wiggling on the same one. So in other states, all renewals are in the same month for everyone who holds a license. And for schools, every other year. It takes the guesswork out of when renewals are, and this would be helpful. Okay,
Yeah.
so talking about our director of licensing isn't in here, but the renewal cadence for that.
And that's good comments, good to know, because I don't know if you guys know, but we're trying to build our own licensing system. So that's something that is going to help us when we start really putting the pieces and asking the folks that are building this stuff for us, how do you want to see this? How do you want to deliver this? These are things that's going to be useful and kind of gives us a different perspective on how we should issue and renew licenses. You know, we keep getting larger. We're over 1 million people.
Yeah.
The larger we get, we're going to have to find innovative ways to make sure that we don't have, we don't get hiccups along the way. So
Look,
that's good
she's
comments.
back.
What else do we have? Do we have any new ones that came in? Is this the top? Okay.
Have education requirements to the instructors. Okay. All right. This is kind of slowed down. Anybody furiously typing in here? Okay.
All right.
5, 4,
Let's
3,
go to the
2,
next
1.
one.
Okay. So this is the last question. This is, like I said at the beginning, the crystal ball question, right? So during the next 5 years, what major changes do you expect in your program, your profession, or your industry? What's coming at you? What do you see? Earlier this morning, we talked about artificial intelligence is something that it's here. And so we're figuring out ways to utilize it to best service our customers. That's here, like social media.
This question is important. And I think, for me, this is probably one of the biggest questions there is, because I look at it this way. We don't know what's going to happen. What does that mean to you as an industry, right? Where are you going to be as an industry? You know, are things going to pivot for you because of, as the world changes, right, with AI and all kinds of different things? You know, you have electric vehicles. What does that mean to me, right? You have people learning from YouTube, cosmetology person back there, right? What does that mean? I don't need to go to school. I can figure this out on YouTube. So how are we as educators going to pivot, right, to help our industry? Industries are lacking licensees. We already had a couple of bills that recently passed for electric and AC to try to get more folks in there, get residential wiremen involved, and get them licensed, get licensed technicians in AC. They're already trying to make those shifts because they can see that the numbers are going down. So what's going to happen to your industry? Remember many years ago when the taxi drivers never said anything? They said, Uber, Lyft, oh, that'll never go anywhere. We'll be in business. I don't think I've seen a yellow cab, right? They just disappeared, and we don't want that for our industry. So this is important for us to understand what you see is happening, so when we're asked, we can say, hey, the industry's saying this, maybe we need to fix these laws, maybe we need to pivot and change some of the antiquated words or things that are in law, because here's what our electricians are saying or our AC contractors are saying. That's kind of where this question is going. What are we seeing there? Large number of individuals choosing alternative, and that's true. There's a lot of folks I know don't even have a vehicle and they're just using rideshare.
And these automated vehicles that are on the roadway, it's been brought up that if there's no steering wheel, gas pedal, or seatbelt kind of a deal, who has the driver's license? That was a shocking thing to think about. Like, who's responsible, all of that kind of stuff. When the standard things that we know in a vehicle, which makes us responsible, is no longer the case. So again, that's like something we're seeing. It's here, it's happening, it's only going to evolve. So what does that evolution of that change look like for you in your industry?
Go ahead.
Great.
Yes, going back to the YouTube, we are enrolling students that live by YouTube, and they come in thinking they know everything, but they don't know about the sanitation. They don't know about the electricity. They don't know about any of that. And for me, I'm afraid that they could get a certificate through YouTube or online and think they are properly licensed to go to the public, and then the public would be in harm's way. That's what I'm seeing in the cause and
Right.
and nails.
Right, and that's why I brought that up, because, what do we want to do for Barber and Cause in the program? Because that's happening, right? So what do we do to try to fix that or change that perception, right? There are people that are creating a game with this, right? And in some of the programs we regulate, and so that they take the course on their phone, because now you got the attention, because why? Everyone has this. So the educators have pivoted to incorporate this device into schooling. And you don't want to be left behind, right? You're like, well, I'm not doing that, right? Because that's what I would say. I'm old school. I ain't doing that. But we have to understand what's happening to us and the industry, and what are we going to see, how we're going to shift. And this is why I think this question, it's hard. We don't have the crystal ball, but this is hard. We can already see glimpses and little breadcrumbs happening now, and what's that going to look like in 5 years. We'll be singing a different story up here in 5 years.
Yeah, it'll be different. You're so right. You can do anything on YouTube. I mean, just as simple as like, hey, my puddle lights aren't turning on my vehicle. How do I fix those? And there's a YouTube video for how to do that. And so it's kind of crazy. Like, if you can't find it on Google, it doesn't exist. And the sad part is that we have folks that are finding their way into an industry, as I hear you say it, unsafely, because of what is available now. And how do we maneuver with that as a regulatory body, as the industry?
So, is it TLR need to communicate differently? And how do we do that? Is it something we put on the website? I mean, there's so many things we can do, but we need direction of you guys as well. We don't want to start saying something about your industry and then we're totally off.
Right.
This is more an educational and somehow to shift the mindset.
Yeah.
The mindset of those individuals on what they should be doing, not what they are doing, but what they should be doing.
Ray, we have to also think about how another pandemic might affect our industry.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Please don't say that.
Right? You don't want to be caught again.
But again,
Fool me once, right? Fool me once. Can't do that
but
again.
it's so true, because how many of our industries changed
Yeah.
overnight so significantly because of COVID? And how many changes did you in how you teach, how you reach your customers, how you do just your normal day-to-day, because the pandemic happened and it shifted your business model one way or the other.
I'll do a PSA right now. January's coming. Session is coming. Pay close attention. If you don't know how to navigate on the legislative online, go to our website. Our website will have a link and it'll show all the bills that have come to light. When we know about it, we'll put it on our website. And it may affect your industry. You want to be in the know. Be upfront, because there may be things to what Brenda is just saying that the legislature may have recognized. We're in a different world. And earlier they talked about distant learning. Distance learning may take over. The brick and mortar may go away. I mean, I don't know what they're going to start talking about, but you guys need to be there to make sure your voice is heard. Don't let it catch you without you all knowing. And we post that on our website every odd year.
Yeah,
Not that I'm odd, but every odd year.
no comment.
Anyway,
That's a great point, and I'd like to add to that just a little bit. So yeah, session starts in January, but the bill pre-filing starts in November. And so we're sitting here in the middle of April right now. It literally is going to be here tomorrow.
Yep.
And there are interim charges already being handled by legislators. So it's already moving and grooving. So don't sit back and wait for January. For some of these things that are going to take some type of legislative change or statutory change, you may need to go talk to your legislators. We can't lobby as an agency. We're there as kind of testimonial expert witnesses. Like, if you're going to do this, this is what will change. If you're going to do that, this is what will change. But we're not allowed to say, that's a great idea. So we can't lobby, we can't support in that way or form or fashion. We have to take a neutral road. So you can go to who represents me, and you can figure out who your representatives are, your state representatives, your senators, things like that. So if you have something that's pressing with your industry, get with your association folks, whatever the case may be, and go talk to your legislators. That's where your piece of your voice is going to be heard there as well. So that's another avenue. Yes, sir.
That's why I put a comment up there. You can't see it yet. You need to scroll up. But with the electrification of everything in our industry, the next 5 years, and as many people that come to Texas, power production is going to be paramount. And wind and solar is not the solution. It's part of the solution, but it's not the solution. We need more power plants built in this state.
That's a good point. Every time it gets hot or cold, we're talking about the electrical load. So, and people are coming to Texas.
I like some of these
And they're
comments.
not
It's good.
bringing their own electricity, and they ain't bringing their own water either. So, so you're right. There's some things that have to be thought about on that. Yes, sir.
And thank you to Nina Saint. She's always, if you've ever been to some of her meetings in the association, she's always there batting for us, basically saying the same thing we're just saying. TR can't do it for you. You need to be there and make sure you speak up for your industry. So that's good. I wish everybody in the industries would say that. That's really good, because it does help. They need to know. They need to be informed. And a lot of people, unfortunately, I know this is not your job. You got your own business you're doing. You need to run your own business. But we want to help. We're here to help you, because we can't say it for you. So this is part of what this is. This is great comments. That's fine. If you didn't get to post your Queen comment, it's not too late. If you want to post it here, just say, here's my Queen comment. We'll move it over. Just get whatever you can out here.
Yeah.
We want to hear it, and we'll get it in the right spot.
There was one that I found a little bit interesting. Can you scroll the other way? There we go. Yeah. Oh, too far. Fuel. Bluetooth from the car to the dispenser. So is this relating to like pumping your gas via Bluetooth
And you
somehow?
just charge
so
on your
you
phone? I don't know.
So you
Maybe.
don't have a skimmer issue, because
That's good.
that's existing. I'm sure everybody's heard of skimmers. And I'll tell you, they are becoming so much more sophisticated in how they can get skimmers into pumps, into ATM machines, things of that. We're actually partnered with the Financial Crimes Intelligence Center that's in Tyler, and this is their entire specialty that they do. And we had the opportunity to go up there just a couple of weeks ago and get to see some of the stuff that these folks are doing. Criminals are smart, bottom line. They are very smart. And so we are seeing that evolution, and so we're always trying to find ways to how to not get skimmed. You can walk up to a pump, put your card in, and you have no idea. It's not as obvious as it used to be, where the tape was busted on the container or things like that. So these things are happening. And so that's a very interesting approach. And if you're seeing that coming in 5 years, I mean, we've gone from what, the magnetic stripe to the chip to the tap, you know, and
right.
all that's happened in what, less than 5 years it seems. So that could be something definitely coming down the pike. Thank you for that comment.
Yeah, the Department of Education and the federal change is coming, that's in July. Gainful employment, the 150% rule, yeah, I'm sure a lot of you know about that. That's around the corner, and that's going to be effective July 1, 2024. We don't know how what's going to happen, that's the Department of Education, but our team will be working with the Department of Education so that we can better understand how they're going to implement that rule so we can help the providers and the schools that we are regulating. If they have any questions, we're probably maybe easier to get information. I don't know, I'm just throwing that out there. If you can't get a hold of Department of Ed, we can help the Department of Ed with the message that with what they're doing with that new rule. But yes, that is a true statement.
Cosmetology schools are trying to leave the NACCAS.
NACAS. There's many accreditation agencies out there. NACAS is not the only one. They're one of the big ones. But yes, schools can choose whichever accreditation agency they would like. And we are familiar with their accreditation and how they do things. But that's something NACAS is going to pivot as the Department of Education implement the new rules. So there's a lot to come on that. I know it's around the corner. Will be here in no time. So we're going to be having those conversations. But thank you for recognizing that's coming. I'm sure a lot of folks know about it. Stricter laws, DWI offense, they continue to increase. Curriculum should be up to date annually, so we provide the most accurate information. Yes, we are working with that program, the court order program. For those of you who don't know, if you commit offense, a court or a judge can ask you to take one of the courses that we regulate. And what they're talking about here, some of those courses need to be updated. There's some outdated information, so we're looking at trying to do that as well. We've gathered some subject matter experts to go over that program and see where we can make changes. So that's coming. Thank you for that. That's actually, at least in cities I've went, that's the first comment on court order program.
Really? Are we at the top? What else? What does your crystal ball say?
Anything else?
Yeah, I've got good stuff. Lots of stuff to make us think, what can we do now? What has to wait? What doesn't have to wait? And Ray,
Somebody in McAllen told me, I thought this was interesting, the AC contractors were a little bit worried. Well, this one guy, I shouldn't say everybody, he was worried about what's going to come in the next 5 years. He was saying there are now equipment that he can control from his house with his phone. So if he has these customers, he can troubleshoot it. I was like, wait, what? That's really cool. And he's saving time on troubleshooting this, so he kind of already knows what's happening, and then he can get there on site and help. He said there's going to be a lot of more AI, more technology involved.
yeah,
My dryer does the same thing. LG, they just call and say, oh, what's the number? Yeah, here's what's wrong. I'm like, what? How'd you
okay,
do
it's like
that?
calling the cable company. And
All
your box isn't working.
technology.
Yeah,
So it wouldn't surprise me with electrical and AC, there's going to be more savvy equipment being generated and produced that is going to help the technician to troubleshoot, just like our vehicles, right?
Yeah.
Back in the day, we're helping Dad to change that distributor cap. You don't need to do that anymore. Just connect it to a computer and it'll tell you what's wrong with it.
I didn't do that.
You didn't do that? I had to do that. Right? But I mean, it's crazy how they just connect, oh, it's spark plug number, or is that fuse number 3, change that out, you're good. Wow. So I'm sure that's gonna, that's coming around with electrical, that's coming around with AC, those types of
Yep,
programs.
it's
That's,
like a check engine light on everything now.
Yeah, basically.
That makes sense. Okay.
Daily Queen, I thought that said Dairy Queen. I think I want Dairy Queen. I don't know what the,
It's blizzard time.
I read Dairy
huh?
Queen. Reevaluate esthetician license and make it self-standing, separate from barber cause. Okay? I've heard this before, and I'm not sure where. This is interesting. We're going to look into that because I heard this from the other cities, and I don't know what's sparking that. There's that conversation of esthetician should be different. I don't know. I don't know if it's because of dermaplaning and that kind of thing. I'm not sure, but I've heard this before recently in all of the other cities. I'm curious to know more on what the conversation is about that to see where we can go. We've been talking with the National Interstate Council, Nick, and they having conversations about that as well. So it's statewide. It's not just Texas. It's statewide. It's nationwide.
The other piece on that, we're talking about the instructor license, and yes, those did get sunset through House Bill 1560 that came through. I do want to let you know that this was something that we had also heard in every city and every session that we have had for strategic planning. And Brian Francis, who is our interim executive director, has made a commitment to make sure that piece is put in our strategic plan, that we have heard this from every single city. So your voice will be heard, and that comment will be echoed definitely in the strategic plan.
Yeah.
Speaking of that, where you'll be able to see it will be on our website. When we're said and done with the process, it'll be around the 1st of June-ish, right, Carnicia? First, okay. When this is all said and done and the full report has been put together, it will be published on our website, so you can go and see that. And the comments, all of the comments that have come through from all of the sessions will also be published on our website. And I know in every session we've heard as well, we're giving you all of this information, but how do we know if you do anything with it? And I just want to point out one quick example. In the last strategic planning session that we had 2 years ago, there was conversation about a mold advisory board for the mold remediation program that we had, and that we needed to have an advisory board. Again, we're the regulatory experts, not the industry experts. And I can tell you that that was added to our agency in this past legislative session. And so that does happen. So no, again, as I said at the beginning, this isn't falling on deaf ears. And some of this stuff is going to grow legs, if you will, and you will see some changes.
I can't stress more that your participation and your involvement with the legislative session is very important.
Yes.
We can't do it. I know I see comments here, the instructor license for cosmetology went away. Did we know about it? Well, yeah, they tell us. They say, here's the bill, and here's what you're going to do. And so we need to pivot with what's given to us, right? If they say, well, we're going to make electricians, I don't know, this, we're going to go, okay, well, tell us what you want, and here's how we're going to implement it. We can't tell the legislature, oh, we don't want to do that. That's a bad idea. We don't have that liberty to do that. It's not our wheelhouse. So which is why it's important for you guys to be participating in these things. So if you hear they're doing away with the instructor license, you need to jump in and say, wait a minute,
Yeah.
I got something to say about that, right? You need to do that. And I know some folks are talking about wanting to lobby the legislature to try to get the instructor license back. My advice to you is do what you need to do, but go with the plan. Go with the plan and reasonings behind why you want something. Whether it's want something back or want something changed, anytime you want something from the legislature, you want some kind of bill to be written or a law change, come up with a plan.
like a
I see
business
Nina
case.
at the Capitol a lot. Come up with a plan and show up. Be engaged and say, these are things I think would be better for our industry if we had X, Y, Z. That will show, it'll give them a draft, right, is what you're looking for. And they'll be able to listen to you that way in providing some feedback. But again, don't get caught on the after facts, because that'll be a little too late when things happen afterwards.
Yeah.
That's tough.
And once legislation gets here, it flies by.
Yeah.
It goes by
Goes
so
real quick.
even though it's, a few months, and depending on who you ask, they'll say it goes faster, they'll say it takes forever. But it does go fast. So my point to that is that when you need to make your voice heard, you've got to do it quick. Don't sit back and wait, because they will get stuff moving real quick, and it'll be done before you know it. So be active. Like Mr. Pizarro said, we've got that stuff up on our website. When we start tracking all the bills, Mr. Jeff Kopus, one of our government specialists, he does a fantastic job of knowing what's going on and where it's all at, and getting that out to the public and getting that out to everybody on our website. So stay tuned for that and know it's coming. What tab would that be under on your website? So the website's new.
Usually when it's something that important, especially when it's a legislative, it'll be on our front page. It's going to tell you session, and I don't know when they're going to do that. It's going to come soon.
We might have like
by
a separate little.
November,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
We might have like a separate little tab for it
Yeah.
or something like that. I'm assuming this, again, because that outline, the website has changed, so where it was before is going to be a little bit different. But you'll see, and it'll be, hey, it's going to probably draw your attention. The web team is really, really good about making sure
They are.
that things are, readily available for you to get to.
And they'll
especially with
separate them.
something with
They'll
session.
separate them by categories,
Yes.
electrical bills, AC bills,
Yes.
Barbara cause bills, driver
Yes.
education bills, so you can go and look
Yeah.
at those and see what the conversation, what's happening.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, if you want to show up at the meeting, they'll have it listed when's the next committee meeting, and you can go and be present.
And Texas Legislature Online is another place, just another tool that you can use for being able to track bills. You can put in like kind of keywords and things of that will say, hey, you're looking for something that has the word cosmetology in it. It'll bring up those types of bills for you and just kind of show you that stuff. It's kind of a different type of website to navigate. So if you have some questions about it, our communications manager, Tila Mange, has already offered her information to folks. If you want to leave me your information, we'll make sure that she gets it, and she'll be able to send you out kind of what the how-tos will be when we get into legislative session. So you'll know how to track and view and see stuff that's going on. Cool.
We're here to help you.
Yes,
No.
absolutely.
It's a lot of information, but we're here to help you in any way we can.
Yep.
That's our goal. This is why we do these meetings, is here to help the industries we regulate. We want to make sure you have the tools you need to operate as an industry now and into the future. And some of these things will help us into the future for coming years. Next session, hopefully there's some changes out of this, right? And then we'll do the same process again in 2026 to say, hey, now that you see whatever change happened, what do you want now? And what should we be doing at that time? Is it more battery cars or more cars exploding? I mean, I don't know, right? Who knows what's going to happen? So it's an ongoing thing. We're always going to be changing. So make sure you guys stay engaged with your industry. That's all we have for today. Thank you all for joining us online, and those who are here will be around. If you have any other comments for us or questions, we'll be happy to help you.